Still 12 minutes to go. We are super early. If you got this part of the video, you've got the live unedited edition. Home Gadget Geeks, Thursday night, November 7th, 2019. Happy November 7th to you. Hopefully you're having a good November so far. If you're listening live, just hang tight. We're kind of early. We're about 10 minutes early. I wanted to pour my beer, and I wanted to do it live. So I said, Mike, we're going to start early. So we're starting early. If you're catching this at theaverageguy.tv/live and it's after the fact, you're like, well, when are they going to get started? Well, we never really get started, just to be honest. Although we do. Eventually we'll get to some stuff. Hang tight. You can fast forward 10 minutes or 15 or whatever. And but for now we're gonna do some little beer sampling. Mike, you got a good one. Why don't you talk about what you're drinking tonight?
I do. So we have a place called Spirit World here in Omaha, and they get a lot of really good. Well, they're mainly spirits, obviously, but they get a lot of good beers too. So this one I had never heard of. Maybe some of you Californians know it. This is Belching Beaver Brewery out of Oceanside, California. It is a peanut butter latte nitro golden stout. I feel like that's like a fancy like Starbucks drink you got to order. Like it's a really long name, peanut butter latte nitro golden stout. But it's probably one of my favorite beers I've tried lately, I'd have to say. I'm not a huge peanut butter fan. Like I like peanut butter, but I'm not like I don't always crave it. I don't always go for that. But the latte part of this, I think that's what really gets me. Is it's not just straight peanut butter. It adds in a little bit of coffee flavor. It's really good.
Out of the bottle, not out of a glass?
You know?
With the nitro,
it
that
says I'm supposed to pour it in a glass, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go get a glass.
Okay.
After you talk about your beer, then I'll go get a glass.
So Boulder Beer Company in Colorado, next door. We try to get Boulder Beer whenever we're there. Really good. They kind of were early in the craft beer movement. They have a favorite. Actually, they say they're Colorado's first craft brewery. The chocolate, this is a shake chocolate porter, which is pretty delicious on tap. I haven't had it in a can, so this is going to be my first.
Are you going to pour yours into a glass? Is that
not nitro? I am. Yeah. You want to go grab your glass?
Yeah, I'm going to grab my glass.
Grab one.
Beer opener too.
So, pretty good. This is not a nitro. So you don't want to pour it too rough, but you do want to get a good head on it. There's a restaurant. I was telling Mike, there's a restaurant in Idaho Springs, which is on the way up to the Eisenhower on Interstate 70 in Colorado. In Idaho Springs, there's a restaurant called Bojo's. They make really good pizza, and they have just about every Boulder beer on tap, which is great. And the shake chocolate porter is one of those. A really rich, chocolatey, flavory kind of dessert beer in was it Hy-Vee, and they had it for $7.99 a six pack. All the Boulder beers were on sale, so I picked one up. I picked up their holiday. Mike, I also picked up Boulder's holiday beer too. They have kind of a fest kind of beer. It would be like between an Oktoberfest and a Shiner Christmas.
The holiday cheer.
Yeah, holiday cheer.
I cannot wait to grab one of those.
I had one.
Did you?
On
I need
tap.
to get one.
Tap House down.
They have it on tap?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, down at the Tap House.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here.
Super delicious.
What's the style for a nitro? I don't usually have nitros. Is it just
just dump. Go.
Just dump.
Just straight. Yeah, it's a little counterintuitive, but yeah, pour oil. Hopefully your glass will fit. Yeah, there you go. Good. That's always.
Oh.
Yeah, look at that. Whoa,
see that.
That's kind of light. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because it's a golden stout. It's a nitro golden stout is what it is.
Yeah, I love the way that nitro.
Yeah, you're right. They even give you instructions. Nitro pouring instructions.
Pour hard.
For a creamy head, invert bottle upright in a drinking glass. Slowly lift the bottle as the beer. Oh, slowly lift the bottle. So I was supposed to put it all the way to the bottom.
I think so.
Pull it out.
Yeah.
Well, round 2 we'll do in the middle of the show.
You can do it either way. To be honest, you can do it either way. I picked up some Murphys too. They had Hy-Vee had some Murphys, which is kind of the Guinness, kind of a step up from Guinness. I think a little smoother. So I picked up some Murphys while I was there. Yeah, good out of the glass.
See, it's even better. Sorry, I got that head on it. It's like a creamy head. Oh my gosh!
You get the aroma in there, and
you really just get the whole thing.
Just change the whole. You're gonna have to have two. Do you have another one?
Yeah, I have another one loaded.
Yeah, good. All right, good. Yeah, you're gonna want a second one for sure.
There's
What's
like
the
you could have Advil for a headache, or just drink more beer. I think that's really that's how it works, right?
for it? I'm for it. What's the alcohol on those?
I think only let's see, 5%.
Yeah, pretty average. That's a so Oceanside. Those are made in Oceanside. So Tim, my Marine, is stationed at Camp Pendleton, which is they kill me. The Marines would kill me for saying that. Literally.
Is there a difference?
Oh yeah, forts are Army, camps are Marines.
Oh,
so
gotcha.
Okay, it'd be different. So Oceanside, those are made right outside where Tim is stationed, and I have seen pictures from that brewery before. So some pretty good. The kids love the peanut butter. My kids love the peanut butter beers. They also love putting peanut butters on their hamburgers. Have you a peanut butter guy on a hamburger?
I have tried. Well, I at a restaurant one time. It was like a breakfast burger, and they had peanut butter. And I was like, yeah, sure, throw it on there. That was pretty good. I'm a huge fan of like anything breakfast burgery, like eggs. Love eggs. Hot sauce on there.
Eggs on burgers.
Oh
good.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like a hangover.
Yes, a hangover burger. That's what that's called that somewhere here.
That's my favorite. Red Robin. They don't call it a hangover there because it's kind of a family place.
Right.
I think it's called their Royal at Red Robin. But it comes with an egg and over easy, and it just oozes
everywhere.
Oh, it's so delicious.
My Hannah will, when she's cooking the patty, she'll kind of hollow out the middle and she'll crack the egg and put it in the middle of the patty. So like as you bite into the patty, like the middle has that egg that
yeah.
Now I'm getting hungry.
Do you when you toast your buns for first when you're doing hamburgers, do you toast them and butter them?
100%. I don't usually butter them. No.
Ooh. Try that sometime.
Okay.
Get a really good salty butter. You probably buy salted butter anyway. You probably don't buy the unsweet or the unsalted stuff, but a really good butter, salt it. That really comes through when you're on the burger. That really enhances kind of the burger flavor. So you get it's death. it's a heart attack.
But hey, you're already having a burger with egg in it, right? Like, might as well go all out. Yeah, butter is one of those things. Hannah and I, both of our families ate the same butter as kids, and I don't think I've ever even looked at the packaging of it. It's just habit from as kids. We used to use Country Crock butter. Like, it comes in the tub, and both of our families ate it, and I couldn't tell you if it has salt in it, unsalted, whatever, I have no idea. It could be margarine for all I know. It's just what we've always eaten as a kid, is that Country Crock butter.
Yeah.
There's those things from your kid, your childhood.
What's a crock?
I don't know.
Like, what is that stuff? Brian Regan or one of those guys, I think it's Jim McGaffigan, says it's if you let it sit out for too long, it just turns into petroleum.
It's probably about right.
Yeah, gasoline. Yeah. So I love we a little bacon, and sometimes we'll do peanut butter and jelly on a burger, and that's.
I'm not a huge jelly fan.
Yeah.
I've always been like peanut butter and banana sandwiches were always my thing. I'm totally fine leaving the jelly out.
So I got to say this. Nobody from work will listen to this. So we made this big announcement this week about we're just changing 4 colors. We have these 4 domains, in strengths, in Clifton strengths.
Yeah.
And it's like purple and blue and orange and green or something like that. Yellow. Nobody can see I shouldn't say that. They're not ADA compliant. We've had them for 20 years and nobody was thinking about that 20, 25 years ago.
I wouldn't even thought of that.
Yeah. So a couple of the colors can't be seen by people with certain kind of color blindness.
Okay.
So we went through a big study and figured out, okay, what are the right colors and how do we change these without changing them too much?
Gallup doing a study?
Yeah. We asked a few questions.
Yeah. You asked
and did a little study, asked some people and did some testing and
it's kind of what you guys do.
Okay. We didn't ask everybody, but we did ask some people and we did some things. So we didn't at the end, they're just shades off of what they were before. So we didn't think it'd be that big of a deal. So today we put out an announcement that like, hey, colors are changing. This is great, exciting. ADA, they're compliant, right? Awesome. Mm-hmm. And and somebody just came unglued, like, because we've been doing a lot of changes lately. They just came unglued, like, yeah. So it was. So I apologized and said I didn't think this would go to DEF CON. Sorry, just was trying to let people know, trying to get months out ahead of time. And one of the posters just said, I read this post and thought, gee, that's neat. Way to go, Gallup. Then I opened up the comments. And the GIF is of a guy coming in with pizzas, and he's all happy. And then when he gets in the room is on fire. He's like, oh. So I was like, oh. So I was like, yeah, totally. Jeez, like Mike, social, it's just out of control. It's just people are out of control on social. I don't get it. It's
that was like,
relax.
I thought it was pretty funny. President Trump, when he tweeted recently about the dog, right? The military dog who took down the terrorist. And he tweeted like, this is the American hero dog who, helped take down the terrorist. And someone commented on the tweet and was like, finally, like a wholesome tweet from Trump that everyone can agree is awesome. And someone replied back like, just wait. And sure enough, people were finding something to rip him about, like that he did wrong. And just like, there's no pleasing everyone. It could be whatever. And it's
and not just pleasing, but either you're over the top in favor of it and you have to defend it, or it's just getting crushed and it's the worst thing ever.
100%.
So it's like
no middle ground.
Got out of the car and I stubbed my toe. Oh, you should totally sue them. Sue the car manufacturer. That's unheard of. And you're like, I think it was just a stubbed toe.
Yeah.
And Taylor Swift has that new song. Everybody, let's see, what's the name of it? I
don't think I've heard it. I haven't heard any Taylor lately.
Hold on. I want to say everybody chill out, but that's not the Taylor Swift songs. You need to calm down. It's what it is. It's like, and she goes right to social and Twitter and all those things. And it's like, you need to calm down. Like, it's not that important.
Have you seen the recent video of that lady telling, like, she comes up to the car window, the calm down video?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'll send it to you and you can watch it after the show. It is taken over the internet. It is hilarious. This lady is just, she's crazy. All right. Got to look at the notes again.
Yeah. If you're just joining us, we're just at the top of the hour. Actually, I wonder if I benefited. I started the live stream a little bit early, and it doesn't always send out the notifications right away. So this gives some folk some time to kind of get settled in. I want to welcome you. We're just at the top of the hour. And if you've been sitting through this, maybe you joined the live and you're like, well, when are they going to talk about tech? Well, in a minute. Just relax. Everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. It's we're going to get there. There's nothing like, Mike, when you work in social media, which is what I basically do now, it's either really good or it's really bad. Nobody's, and I shouldn't say nobody. The problem is the two extremes. Nobody wants to be with them.
Right.
Like, here's what they don't realize. They're nobody wants to be with them. Like, and so, they're like, just going to leave this conversation alone. So,
well, and you don't get very moderate comments, right? Like, most comments are one extreme or the other. The people who are moderate, usually number one, aren't wasting their time on social media, right? Like,
true.
The sane normal people are not sitting on social media all day.
No,
and
not.
The ones who are, they're like, I don't need a comment, like, because look at this fire fest going on in the comment section.
I do get some that. I do get some reasonable ones. We've got some really great customers who, they'll ping me behind the scenes or whatever. And it's like, hey, I know, and we've had a difficult rollout. It has not been easy, and I get it, but I do, I know, you don't have to keep telling me. I know. Yeah. Actually, I do know. I'm there. I'm living it. I see it all the time. Yeah, no, I know. You don't have to keep telling me. So it's always kind of interesting. Made me really excited to come back to Home Gadget Geeks tonight. It was kind of like, we can just come talk some tech and we don't have to,
Yes. Get away from that.
Yes. Don't have to be. It's kind of nice. All right. And I don't have to drive to Lincoln tomorrow, which is kind of nice.
Were you going to have to?
Every Friday I go down. We have a project that we're working on down there. So every Friday I go down and meet with the students. And I can't stop watching this GIF. Hold on. I got to show this thing.
Of the guy with the pizzas.
Yeah, the guy with the pizzas. Hold on, let's see if I can share screen. And okay, and we want to share this screen, and we'll see. Will the GIF play? Let's see. There we go. So
It's just the perfect depiction of what he was trying to get across. Too.
Oh, I know. So great. So great. Just like, yeah, like, oh, wake up, Pete. Oh, the place is on fire. All right. Let's pull these over here. And let's leave the show notes there.
Want to zoom us in?
Oh, yeah. Thanks. There we go. That's better. You like that better?
Well,
this feels so far away.
It does. And when you're watching, that black is a lot of space. Like when you go back and watch on YouTube, you're kind of like squinting a little bit if you're trying to watch it.
You're right.
You know, if there's 3 people, it works. There's a lot of black for 2 people.
Yeah.
I wish they had the mode to auto switch almost like a Hangout.
Yeah. I bet it's coming.
You know?
I bet they'll do something like that because I would like this view auto switched. So then when you talk, switches over.
Yeah.
Then back to me, then back to you.
Yep. Well, because there's a lot of time while you're talking, I'm like checking something out, or I'm looking on the website of what we're talking about.
It's
or
pretty
anything.
distracting.
And it's like, and then everyone's half of the screen is someone not looking at the camera, right?
I know.
Like doing something else, or
well, it is a podcast, right? Yeah. It is a podcast. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on social media and just blast them.
Just blast them.
Just be like, who do you guys think you are? This is asinine. This is
basic functionality.
Yeah. Everybody's doing this.
What am I paying for? I'm leaving.
You guys call yourselves developers?
That's how I handle my problems.
Just get really angry, yell at people. You need to calm down.
Yeah.
All right. Andrew says, nobody puts Mike in a corner.
Nobody. No one puts baby in a corner.
That's so good. All right. Let's see. Let me find my notes. Let's do this thing. This is the Average Guy Network, and you have found Home Gadget Geeks, show number 422, recorded on November 7th, 2019. Here on Home Gadget Geeks, we cover all the favorite tech gadgets that find their way into your home. News, reviews, product updates, and conversation, all for the average tech guy. I'm your host, Jim Collison, broadcasting live from a chilly Bellevue, Nebraska. We are, I think, did we get a little snow the other day?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We've had a little bit of snow. I think 2 separate days we've had snow.
Well, fall came and went. It was chilly today, 17 degrees when I woke up this morning, and it was like, oh, okay, winter is here. It's great. I love it. That's my favorite, jackets and those kinds of things. Of course,
same.
We post the show, I like it, with world-class show notes each week out at theaverageguy.tv. Don't forget, and we want to remind you, if you haven't downloaded the app yet, you might want to get that done, iOS or Android, free. HomeGadgetGeeks.com, best way to listen on the road. Many of you have. It gets really good numbers, actually. So head out to HomeGadgetGeeks.com. You can download that for free. We want to thank our Patreon subscribers who help me pay for that every single year. By the way, thank you to everybody who gives through Patreon. Appreciate that. It's the beginning of the month, and we just got those donations to come through, so we appreciate you guys doing that. If you want to join us in Discord, theaverageguy.tv/Discord, we'll get you there. Or theaverageguy.tv/Facebook if you want to do the old way of talking to us. You can get that done as well. Mike Uyghur was out. How was I almost said 4th of July. How was Halloween?
It was a cold Halloween for us in Nebraska last week. So, for our boys are young too. So my boys actually, their favorite part was actually handing out candy. They had a lot of fun. So we did the run. They were Woody and Buzz for Halloween, and Emmett still wears his Woody hat around the house. He just thinks it's the best thing ever. And they had a good time. And it was first time that Emmett was kind of old enough to really enjoy the full aspects of the holiday, right? The candy, the everything. Harrison then was watching him and obviously doing everything he did. It was a great Halloween. It was fun seeing him really enjoy it for the first time.
Do you have a Ring doorbell?
I do. We have a Simply Safe doorbell.
Okay, but if kids came up, did you have kids come up and
yeah.
Did they ring the doorbell? Did Hannah give out the candy, or did you guys put a bowl out?
We had the door open, and we were all in our living room, so usually they didn't even have to. We were just kind of sitting around. We had chairs right around there,
venting your heat out to the
heating the whole neighborhood.
That's
right?
Nebraska. Power's free. What the heck?
I need to get on my dad hat. And be like, we're not heating the whole neighborhood. All right.
This Halloween, the big deal was like Ring door cam footage of kids stealing candy. I don't know if you noticed that, but it was all over Twitter. And, where kids would put a bowl out. I guess that's become a new tradition, too. You're too lazy to even answer the door.
Yeah.
So you put a bowl of candy out, and the kids just come and get what they want.
Well, what do you expect with kids?
I'm going to put that on. I'm going to get angry on Twitter and just start getting angry at people who don't.
Did you see the one Good Samaritan video, though, from that?
Yeah,
where one kid shows up, there's no candy, there's a little girl coming behind him. I don't know if it's his sister, I didn't get the full story, and he took candy out of his own bucket, put it in the bowl so that there was candy for her when she came up. That was the sweetest thing I've ever seen.
Super great.
Yeah, you raised a good kid if that's what he's doing.
Totally. Yeah, that's like a Parent of the Year award, right?
Yep,
on that
100%.
one. And you got to be proud of that. But boy, there were a lot of Ring door cam photos and people just tattling on some and things getting wrecked and ruined and whatever, or like you said, a situation where it was for good. But that's kind of interesting. Like those have become so popular now, and having a camera on your front door or recording that has become, we turn our lights off and we just don't do it. In fact, big thanks to Mike Howard, who was on the show last week. It was Halloween evening when we were doing that. Mike came on and updated on a story. A really good Home Gadget Geeks. If you haven't had a chance to listen to it, go back and listen to 421. And you can get that at theaverageguy.tv/HGG421 if you want to go back kind of directly to it. Big thanks to Mike, who came on and kind of talked about his cancer story and what he's doing. And he is not out of the woods. And Mike, we're thinking about you. And, we should care about him a lot. And, this is Mike. This is real. Like, this is real life. We've had this community for a decade together. We've been all of us have been together. Those who started this back in the home server show days. We've been together a decade. You're coming on 6 or 7 years, I think, maybe hanging out with us.
Yeah, 5 going into 6, I think.
Yeah, and you start caring about people. It's just one of those things. I really appreciate the community who just lets me do those kinds of things. We got some really good comments back from the live stream about having Mike on. So appreciate you guys doing that. Not necessarily a lot of tech in there, but it was really good to have Mike on and catch up with him on the show. So Mike, thanks for doing that. I got with Christian on Monday night. We finally got a Cyber Frontiers recorded. Cyber Frontiers 58 still due out. So right at this very second, if you went over to theaverageguy.tv, it would not be there. I'll get it. I'm waiting on some show notes from Christian. But Christian brought up, I didn't realize this. He's gotten into ham radio.
He got the bug.
He has. And not like you, but he does monitor some things. And we talked about this site, APRS.
Yep.
So APRS.fi. And it's kind of like Google Maps with all this ham stuff superimposed. Mike, have you seen that?
Yeah, I have. So APRS is a really cool use case for ham radio. And what it essentially does is it allows you to, it's like a network all over the country. Usually there is a frequency that you can tune to. And for the most part, you're going to find a repeater or something that is using APRS to get your signal out. Think of it as a big mesh network, essentially, of radios, for APRS especially. And it's a frequency you tune your radio to, and certain radios have the ability to then ping out your location. So, for example, my radio in my car has GPS built in, so it pulls in the GPS signal, and it will ping out on that radio frequency certain information, my location, my speed, anything I want, right? And it gets loaded into this database. And so what APRS.fi does, it's really fun. You guys should definitely go plug that URL in and go to it. APRS is the technology, .fi. Well, so, and Jim is showing it on the screen. So if you're watching the video, I'll kind of walk you through what's going on. So on this screen, what you're seeing are different pings from different radios that are using the APRS protocol. And you'll notice there's lines on this map a lot, and it's almost like you're tracking someone. This is used nowadays. I can't talk historically because I'm new to ham radio as well, but the current use case for this is, think about if you are a Jeeper in Colorado, right? And you go up into the mountains, especially if you don't have cell signal, and you're meeting up with friends, and you all have ham radios. Well, with APRS, you're able to track and you can get positional data. So I could say, Jim's sending out his ping. I can set my radio essentially, and it'll tell me exactly how far away I am from him. It's pretty much almost like a GPS coordinate communication, but you can do a lot more with it. A lot of the blue dots on Jim's screen now are weather stations. So you can have a weather station that you can have connected to the APRS system. So it'll ping out weather data all across the network as well. So you can get weather information. You can also ping out your current frequency that you're broadcasting on. So for APRS radios, usually it's a dual radio rig, right? So in my car, my radio is dual radios. So on one radio, I'm doing APRS, sending and receiving. And on the other radio, I'm using for communications. Well, the APRS system, when it pings out your geolocation, it can also ping out what frequency you're using to communicate, which is really cool, especially if you're driving through really remote areas. What I've used this for is, maybe there's no repeaters around. A repeater is essentially one big tower and it repeats one frequency, gives you more range. Maybe you don't have that. Well, I use APRS because you can find other cars driving along with you, and then it tells you, and you can instantly click and change your frequency, and you can have a conversation with them direct without going over a repeater. So this APRS network is extremely cool. So many cool use cases for it. And, a lot of the Jeepers actually say their spouses use this website because it lets them know, because their spouse is in the mountains and there's no cell service. They have no idea where they're at. Well, this tells them exactly. They can follow along on their route. Make sure they're safe. Are they still moving, right? It's been used especially in emergency services for those people where, they'll tell their wife, hey, I'm Jeeping. I have my APRS on. If you can't get a hold of me and you don't see I'm moving, these are going to be my coordinates. And there's a lot of different use cases for it, but a really cool use of ham radio. I don't know enough of the technical details on how they got this to work and where all this data is stored. But the way that your broadcast works, the reason it's more of a mesh, and this is there are other mesh systems in ham radio. A repeater is kind of a mesh, but not really. APRS truly is, though, because my radio, when I am driving around, can act as a repeater for someone else's signal. So in your settings, you say, hey, at the max, do 2 or 3 hops. And a hop means how many hops does it take before I get to a site that's actually sending this to the network, right? Because, my radio isn't sending it to the network, but maybe it can get to me, and then I can pass it on to someone else who's close enough to a node that's going to get this into the network. So it really uses these hops to get through the network and get back to the database that records it and allows you to have the map. So just a super, I'm glad Christian brought it up, and I'd be very interested to see, because he's such a techie man. He's gonna have this figured out, and he's gonna have some probably really cool use cases for it. And you even get, when I first thought of this, I did turn it on, right? And so any certain day you could have gone to this and seen my little Jeep symbol. That's the symbol I chose, and my little path from my house all the way to work. The worry is that you are putting exactly where your car's location is, and it uses your call sign. So, if someone knows that, if he usually has a lot of tech in his car. So there are all these sort of settings where it can kind of obfuscate it. It can say, well, just give you a brief, like you put my circle within a mile of where I'm at. So it doesn't have to be super detailed so someone couldn't get it. But if you leave it, the data is so accurate, you could find someone parked in a parking lot. Like you can get down to the exact stall with the GPS data that it's able to send out.
And we can kind of scroll in and see, you were mentioning these weather stations that are here. This is kind of cool. So 25 degrees, 60% humidity. I mean, I'm kind of a weather nerd. So, you could come to a map like this and start clicking on the different weather stations around town.
And if you scroll in there, scroll into that red line, all the way to the very end, there's a car you'll see. Oh, is that the start of it? Maybe that's the. Maybe is there a car?
Hold on,
there's a car there, right?
We'll go out. See. Hold on. Oops.
Oh, he went down.
Let's see where. Right here, maybe on Giles. No. Should there be like a car on the end there? Is that what
there's a car on one end, and you can click on it, and you can get there. I think it might have been on the other one. I couldn't see, but go to any one of those lines. Maybe the one up top there. Oh yeah, there's a car there. It's a little red car. Right?
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
So just click on that car.
Right in there.
And you can see his call sign. Might be able to see his speed that he's going.
12 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's got an altitude, right? So 1,155 feet. Yeah. Nebraska we're not low. We're 1,000 feet up, which is pretty interesting, right?
And the radios are getting really sophisticated, because the problem here is how often I don't want to spam the frequency with my location when I don't need to. So what these radios do, you'll notice how his lines are pretty clean. And the radios, the advanced ones, it'll do it when it senses a turn, right? If I've taken a turn more than 30 degrees or more than, you can set the degree, right? So if I make a turn, it'll send a ping. And then you can set it to, hey, if I'm going this sort of speed, only ping this often. If I'm going faster, ping a little bit more often, right? Because I could be changing stuff up more often. So the radios do a really good job of not over spamming the frequency with your signal if it doesn't need to.
What's this line? What's this purple line here coming off of the car? So there's a straight line. There's a couple lines coming off that car. One's this green line over to a repeater. And then there's this purple line that kind of just goes nowhere. Goes over to here. Do you know?
Scroll into where the purple line ends. And
See.
it might tell you somewhere. I guess I could always pull it up on my...
No, interesting. One of the things,
a lot of times it'll say if he's also broadcasting what frequency he's on, it'll tell you what repeater is closest that he's probably accessing that frequency on.
Okay. My kids live over in this neighborhood. One of the cool things I saw, nope, that's not the button I wanted, is the, where did it go? Let's refresh this. There was, maybe I need to scroll out for it to become, there was a link that said things that are moving. Quick link here. Where did it go? It was just there. It was like another view. Oh, down here, stations currently moving. So you can click on that and then it brings all the station information up and then how fast they're going. So as I was going through this with Christian, I was like, some of these are kind of interesting because as I was looking through them that night, on Monday night, this one's moving at 269 miles an hour, which is pretty interesting. So let's click on it. And it's way up in Canada, western part of Canada, Vancouver, up in that area.
Yeah, but it looks like a tower.
It does. So there's some misreporting, right? It's obviously not moving at 269 miles per hour. So,
but the interesting thing is, Jim, one thing you would really like is I'll have to see if I can remember or if I can find it on Google so we can put it in the show notes. There is an air balloon, and I don't know if it's still going. These guys released a balloon into the air and let it go, and it was going around the world. I mean, this thing was following different jet streams. It had gone south below the United States and actually swept back over below California, come back across the southern United States, and it was using APRS, and you could track this thing in real time because you can type in any call sign you want and track it. So since you guys know I'm W0EGR, you can type that in right here, and it won't show up because I haven't used APRS with that new call sign yet, but you could track anything. And so there are certain people that will use it for those kind of experiments where what would happen, like how would this balloon flow? And APRS is a super easy way to get that signal back.
No, super cool. It's really nerdy. And Christian had said on the episode, Cyber Frontiers, he's learning because there were some things they figured out with ham and kind of the analog side of networking that can be applied to the digital side. And so ham has been been an interest to him, and not really in a spot right now to set up ham, but he probably will. I think he just got his ham license as well. And I was super surprised. I was like, really? Where did this come from? All of a sudden, you kids are coming back around to all these things the adults ahead of me were doing, skipped my generation, and now is landing on yours, right?
Yeah. Well, that happens a lot, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's not the first time that's happened, but yeah, ham radio is definitely one of those items. My dad was like, really? That's what you're into?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
You got any ham radio? So Black Friday, which is all month right now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Any ham stuff on your Black Friday list?
You know what? I'm pretty well set. I went hog wild when I first got in, so I need to simmer a little bit and really learn every single detail about what I already have, and get into that a little bit more, and then maybe move up. Because really, the next step for me is getting into HF, which is high frequency, meaning I could talk to London and I could talk to people in California directly, not over the internet. And so that's something I do want to get into, but probably wait a few years, really get into using 2-meter local stuff before I get into the long distance communications.
We invented this thing called the internet that you can talk to anybody
I know, yeah.
at any time, video, it's awesome. And the kids they're flocking back to ham, right? It's gotten kind of popular again.
It has, yeah, I think so.
I know. That's just crazy. So, Any other? So when you think of Black Friday, any other things you're kind of watching from a tech side or a gadget side that you're interested in?
Well, I need to. What I've noticed is with my boys are starting to use Wi-Fi just enough on the iPad and things like that that it might be good to get another Unify access point or two. I have one for my entire house, and I have it really centrally located, so it works okay. But like there's like in the master bathroom, and that's where you really need good Wi-Fi. It doesn't
Totally.
work, right? That's it's probably the most used Wi-Fi spot.
And if you lose LTE in there, it's even worse.
Jeez, no kidding. If Verizon doesn't act up, so I think I might be looking for some good deals. Usually, people are putting out good deals on those, and they have some really cool options. I had not looked at the Unify lineup in a while, so they have a lot of cool stuff that I'll be looking and see if I can get a good deal on. As the newer stuff comes out, I am totally fine with the older gear. So I think I'll probably snag one or two of those. But non-tech related power tools are always like my go-to Black Friday. They always have a good deal. And so I always try and pick up at least one new tool, something I've been waiting to get.
Lowe's
I'm looking
is
for another
running some
Craig jig. So the bigger Craig jig, I told you guys a long time ago about the little tiny Craig jig I got, and it would be so much faster to get the full size. So if that goes on sale, that could be a
Is that the pocket screw one?
That's the pocket screw one.
Yeah. No, those are super cool. Lowe's is running, and they all are. All the big box stores are running their Black Friday sales pretty early, and all their drill, guns are all on sale right now. And they got some cool battery technology, and they got some cool little gadgetry assigned to those things. In the chat room really quick, let's do this. So Andrew said, Mike, are you, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Are you on 6 meter? Is that 6 meter or 6
meter?
M?
Yep.
Okay.
6 meter. Nope. I'm only on 2 meter and 440. So not on 6 meter.
Justin's wondering if this the same thing as the flip phone / feature phone trend. There are some, it's funny. There are some older adults, and maybe, I tell you what, there'd be days I'd love to go back to just a flip phone and not have any connectivity, especially lately. Go back to the beginning of the show, or go back to did I talk about that in the show, or was that in the pre-show? I think it was in the pre-show. Justin's mentioning, Wi-Fi in the throne room. Good. The Unified Dream Machine is interesting, is what Tony says. Might want to look into that one. Unify's got some great stuff. There's some really good mesh networking things that are going on right now. So some good options for you. I am thinking from a gadget perspective, my garage is a mess, and I'm not very good about keeping up with it. And I'm kind of thinking I don't want to remove all the shelving that's in there, because whoever buys this place next is going to want it. But I'm thinking about taking out a whole bunch of junk and really, Mike, just settling down on one mobile toolbox. Get one of those anywhere from 200 to 1,000. I was looking at the Makita one. It's like $1,000. But I was thinking of and then consolidating everything down into one. And if it's a tool I haven't used in a year, gone type deal. Yeah. I've got duplicates, gone. Just that kind of get rid stuff. I got wire. I have wire from a wiring project I did 15 years ago, still up there in a cabinet. Gone. I'd really like to get when we move. I know I've been saying that for 100 years. I want to roll that thing I literally want to roll my garage into the moving van and be done. That's, I want to get down to kind of one, and then maybe have a few portable rigs for, a few portable toolboxes for the tools I use all the time that I want to take. So I was looking on Amazon. That's one way to do it. I'll probably go to Home Depot and Menards and some of those other ones. Just kind of take a look at what's available, or maybe go on Craigslist and buy a used one. That may be.
I was just gonna say that those toolboxes, usually you can find really good deals on those used. But isn't it crazy how expensive storage in general is? Plastic tubs, right, are just the biggest crock when it comes to price. Those guys have it, made, and
don't buy them this time of year. You need to buy them
right
February.
After Christmas time. Yeah. Yep.
But when they're trying to get rid of all, they all stock up as everybody goes into this storage craze. They all start stocking them up. Yeah, you want to buy those things in February.
And so here's I know it's early, but my favorite stocking stuffer I think I have ever received, and I'll show it to you. Speaking of tools, is the organizer that goes on top of any 5-gallon bucket, right? This organizer, I take this thing when I go and do a wiring job for someone to install Wi-Fi, put all your tools in it, load up the bucket, I had never seen one before before I got it as a stocking stuffer like years ago, and it is my favorite item. And and the bucket breaks, you just move it over to a new bucket, and it's just so simple, especially for the way I store my tools here. And I do my work in the garage. I bring the bucket down, tool, what I need, throw it in the bucket, take it out to the garage, and then bring it right back.
It's a great way to do it.
Yeah,
it is a great. I have
convenient.
I have a bucket boss. I also have a bucket boss on my desk that holds my pens. So
okay,
that's also I got a little. This you can put that on there.
Yeah,
one of those.
I've never seen one of those. That's pretty cool. That goes on a coffee mug.
It goes on a coffee mug.
That's awesome.
Yeah. This is for the monitor stand that I have here. It has some little wrench that you can tighten it up. What I love about these is you can put tools for the stuff that's around you in them. Because what do you do with the Allen wrench that comes with the monitor stand?
Throw it with everything else, and then I never know which one it is.
Yeah, you can never find it. And so a little bucket boss for this is just the bucket boss. Where's the brand name? I think I'm covering it, but little bucket boss brand there. And somebody gave this to me, I think, which is super cool.
Yeah, it's those gifts you get, and you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, mostly hold pen, and it's got I got a little pocket knife in there. You can't live without a little pocket knife.
No,
right?
I can't. Nope, I got like 50 of them right around here.
So I love. Me too. That's for me, that little bucket boss that goes around those 5-gallon buckets is the most kind of helpful carrying kit that I had. So thinking about,
I would use them for all of these. I have like 10 USB drives that have different OSs on them. I would probably just stick them right in there. So, cause I use them a lot. I'm always recreating different images of stuff, and these all just have labels like Ubuntu and everything, but they're just scattered across my desk.
Well, my HP box too has this specialized end that I need to use. That's just part of a Craftsman. This is the right size for it, little star. So I keep it here. That's when I'm working on it. It needs to be close, right? So having some of those kind of gadgets for your gadgets to kind of keep track of them. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time between now and then. Those don't go on Black Friday sale that much, but looking at kind of consolidating the garage, getting rid of some tools. I got some crappy tools. The other thing, we got Joel from Life Door to come on. He'll be coming on. I'll talk about it here at the end of the show. He's coming on a little bit later in early, what did I say? I think December 19th. Joel from Life Door. Life Door is that we talked about. That's a device you can put on any door, and if it senses there's a fire. And he was on Richard Gunther's Home On. So this is where I found him. They talked about it for about 15 or 20 minutes. I was like, oh, this would be great to talk about for about an hour. And I want to pick his brain on his own gadgets. But Mike, I'm installing a hallway door that's been sitting in the room over there waiting for me in a cold weekend to install it in the hallway. Like, you don't want to waste weekends on being inside so I bought that in the spring. It got nice, started doing outdoor stuff. But this Life Door is a device ratchet. So when you open the door, it puts a ratchet spring on it. And then if it senses there's a fire alarms go off in your house, it listens for these frequencies. Here's the noise.
It
shuts the door.
Okay. I was wondering. I didn't know if it was a smoke sensor in itself or okay.
Could be, and there's some interesting things. We'll talk about that on the show. But I'm going to pick one of those up, I think, this weekend, and maybe in 2 weekends, put the door on. And then when Joel comes on, we're going to talk about that. So that's another one of my November Black Friday kind of connected devices that, it was like, oh, this is really, really cool. With, you get with a fire today, you get maybe 3 minutes with the toxic gases that all of our furniture puts off. If the door is shut, you get more like 12 minutes. And so, if it hears those things go off and it shuts the door, by the way, you should sleep with your door shut. If you can, it will save lives. This will automatically shut the door. So pretty cool. And he's doing some super good guy. And Richard did a nice job of interviewing him. So he's coming on in February as well. I'm sorry, in December as well. And we're looking forward to interviewing him. Otherwise, I have not, like, on my list, I'm kind of good to go. I'm kind of going into the year like, I don't know. One of the things non-tech is a wine rack. I just think this is probably time for me to pick up some kind of wine rack that we can store some of the wine on. That'd be a good thing kind of to have. The basement, since I've put temperature sensors down here, it kind of stays at a pretty constant 70. Like it just doesn't move.
What thermostat do you use to connect those to? A Honeywell?
No, I have one of those We goes or We.
Okay, and it has remote sensors, so it
yeah.
knows the temperature.
Well, I bought one for the cigars, just to be honest.
Gotcha.
Justin, I was wondering how long it would take me to mention some cigar
you just know the temperature down there.
Yeah.
Not that it's okay. Got it.
No, so I bought one for the Tupperware that I have for the cigars. I bought a little remote sensor so I could kind of keep track of what was in there using, and it's got an app so I can do it on Android. And so I've been monitoring the temperature down here now for, I don't know, 3 or 4 months since I picked up that sensor. And there's a whole bunch of them by a whole bunch of different names. They're all about 25 or 30 bucks. They're all pretty good. And in the room next door right now, 68.4. If I bring it in here, about 72.3, or just say 72. The reason for the difference is these PCs that are sitting in front of me, mining, raises the temperature in here about 5 degrees. Ironically, when the winter really sets in, it'll get colder in here again. It'll be, a little colder in that room because it doesn't get the heat, little cooler in here, maybe in 70s. But all summer, the air conditioner keeps us 70, just like rock solid 70. So it makes a nice wine, I don't necessarily need a wine fridge down here. So be picking up kind of one of those. Be looking for one of those as well. Peloton. Let's talk about it. Micah's coming on in a couple. Early January. Micah Librant, who's been on the show before, she's going to come on. She's a set up Peloton bike and such. She talked me into using the app today.
She did that on purpose, right? Because January, it's right after the holidays when we're all feeling fat and we need to do something to help us out. Yeah, I'm gonna end up buying a Peloton, Jim.
Well,
I better save. I better start tucking some money aside.
Yeah, well, $58 a month. They have monthly plans now. You can do it interest free. Some of those
not bad.
Things. But if you want to try out the Peloton app, $12. They have a 14-week free trial. It's $12 a month if you just want to do the Peloton app. And at first, so she's been on me about this. So today I just said, okay, I'll try the Peloton app. I'm on the free trial. So she sends me a couple rides to try. And boy, what a slick app. Like they've really done a nice job on getting the app. You can go through and they have a nice search area to say, okay, I want to find rides that are 30 minutes or 45 minutes or 20 minutes. I want them this hard or this easy. I want them by this genre. So you can do hard rock or 70s or 80s or pop, or one was banjo 80s.
Oh, that's me. Yep.
Like, no, right on. Time after time on the banjo, nothing like Cyndi Lauper on the banjo.
Yeah, now you're speaking my language, Jim.
But you don't even know who Cyndi Lauper is.
I do. Yeah.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. Sometimes we'll have to have an 80s quiz for you to see just how much of the Justin. Thanks for coming by.
I wasn't even alive in the 80s, Jim.
I know. Ken's got to take off. Ken, we'll see you. So the app is slick. And I was a little skeptical. It's a little bit of a cult, this Peloton culture that they have going on.
Oh, definitely. Especially at my work. Like my work is the cult. I feel like everyone there has one and does it. And so I am like constantly like, Mike, you gonna do it? You gonna do it? I'm like,
I tried. So I tried today. I found a guy, his name is Dennis, and long hair, total man bun. It was awesome. And so put my Apple earbuds in. We'll talk about those here in a little second. The rip off. I have the knockoff version.
And is this live or on demand?
This one was on demand, but you could do live. The next live ride was at 4:30, and this was like 3, and I didn't want to wait. It's 4. Right. I didn't want to wait. So I played an episode and went back, and this guy, like, it was the most helpful ride ever. And he's talking to you the whole time. So earbuds in, I'm riding, and he's telling you like, okay, increase the difficulty, and then we're going to go at 50 revolutions, right? And the bike I use. So I'm using a standard stationary bike at work. This isn't even a Peloton bike, but it's got some controls on it where you can kind of get the resistance going and some of those kinds of things. So I'm trying to figure out the little difference between their bikes and this one. And so I'm the first 15 minutes trying to figure that out. Then it's on, and then I am sucked in. And this guy he is telling me, okay, we're going to stand up here. Okay, 20 seconds. We're going to do a 20-second spin. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. And it's like, there's a reason people love this. It's super cool. Like, it's super cool. Now you don't have to have the bike. Again, you don't have to have the bike. I did it without a bike. I mean, I had just a regular stationary bike. It's a pretty good one. We have a pretty good one, but I didn't have to go the full Peloton route. And I got done with the ride, and man, I've never had a runner's high in all the years I've been running. I never got that runner's high. I had kind of that. I got off the bike and I was like, that was freaking great.
See, so okay, there must be something to it, because my buddy said at work, he's like, just come over and do one. I said, I feel like if I do, I'm going to want to get one, though. That's the problem. And but I can see that. And for them, too, it's the leaderboards, right? Like, they're always competing, and they can see each other's scores, and they really like that aspect of it. Yeah, I mean, if there's a reason, too, because they even came out with a treadmill. So now they have it for the runners.
They did, and they have a whole bunch of different kinds of workouts now. It's not just riding. You can run, you can walk. They've got stretches. They have kind of mindfulness things, I think, going on in there. So they've kind of expanded it to kind of a variety of, I'm actually kind of like, I suck at stretching. I am all activity, but I don't want to spend 10 minutes stretching. And they have some of those workouts as well. And so I'm kind of $12 a month. I've kind of changed my habits at work. So I'm not buying, I was buying a $6 or $8 lunch every day at work. And I've started bringing it in to kind of reduce the calories. I'm a big 240 right now. I mean, I carry it well, but it's a little more than I want to be. And I've committed to this vertical mile climb for Trek Up the Tower. So 10 times up the First National Bank Tower in February. And of course, every pound matters. And so I'm trying to thin back down to a more reasonable, 210, 205, something like that. Get a little more healthy. So I'm not going to do it every day yet, but definitely adding in maybe 1 or 2 days a week on the app. It's $12. I'm saving that on lunches now. Easy. Like, I'm easily 3 days of lunches. Yeah. And I've paid for the Peloton app for the month.
Right. So you've eaten healthier and added in workout, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty great. I feel better. And on the bike, like, I get off the bike and you just don't have the same, like, when I would run, and, I did a 600 calorie workout today. When I'd run, that's a 6 mile run. I'd be crippled for a day recovering from that run. So been pretty cool. I'm just scratching the surface, but I'm interested. Micah and I have been competing on, and you're in the group too, on the app. And holy cow, since I committed to this vertical mile race, and then I've been competing with her every week, my fitness has completely changed, Mike. I don't know if you've been tracking me on your watch.
On your watch? Yes, I have. I've noticed, like, Jim finished all his circles. I'm like, I'm at work. How did he do that?
Just been crushing it.
Yeah.
It's getting the motivation, using the tech, getting the motivation in the right place, kind of getting resolve around it, and feels really good. I haven't lost a single pound yet. I've been at 4 weeks, but the pants don't fit as tight. I'm replacing muscle. I'm replacing fat with muscle. Mm-hmm. Fat's muscle's more dense, so you don't lose right away. So I'm pretty excited about it. And again, I will definitely, if I use it 2 days a week, definitely get into this Peloton app. And if you buy the bike, $50-$60 a month, plus I think $40 for the service. So the bike can be expensive. It's $100 a month. Now, the $40 gets you it's a family plan. So anybody who is on the bike can take advantage of that plan.
Which is crazy to me when the app is only $12 a month.
But the app on your phone.
I bought your bike so I could have the big screen, and that costs me more now per month, a lot more.
I know.
3 times
I know.
more.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So John's asking, exercise coach app with an audio track. Yes. And music. And you can pick the music, and you can kind of pick your trainer. So, Micah has gotten to know most of those trainers. So she's like, oh, you need to get, she's crazy, or you need to get this guy because he kind of works out that way. So it's super motivating. And man, my 45-minute ride went like that today. Like, all of a sudden I'm like, oh, we're done. Oh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So a cool way of taking your mind off what typically, and then when I ride, I would just go balls out for 30 minutes as fast as I could. No rhythm, no reason, no nothing. Just,
right.
And it's okay.
But probably not the best for you.
Yeah.
And it keeps you interested in it because you're not killing yourself that intensely for 30 minutes. It's, spread out over time and makes you want to come back. It's the fun factor.
Yeah.
Working out for me is all about what's going to get me to come back, right? Like the gym that I was at. And that's another thing. I'm like, I was paying $150 a month just for me at the gym. So $100 a month, and it's Hannah and I both, and any other family member. Well, if the boys got off, like, right? So that kind of makes sense. $100 a month isn't really bad when you think of how much an actual gym costs. But for me, that gym was because I loved the people there. It was so much fun. It made me want to get up in the morning and go.
I think so. In Gallup, if I prove that I use this service, I think 8 times a month they'll reimburse me half of the service fee.
Oh, there you go.
As a kind of a well-being thing.
Yeah.
So now on the $12 plan, it's $6. Probably not even worth the time,
Right.
to fill out the paperwork. But on the big one, on the $40 one, hey, getting $20 a month to, you may be in a place, you may work in a place that encourages those kinds of things. And they may even pay for part of the Peloton on a monthly basis. So one of those kinds of things, those are freakishly cool bikes. And they got some serious tech around those. Joe mentioned in the chat room, speaking of that, Google bought Fitbit, which I didn't see coming. He says, I guess I should have seen that coming. I didn't see Google getting into the Fitbit space. Fitbit has been on again, off again fitness gear, right? Don't you think?
They need some form to get that data into Google. If you really think about it, like the Android Wear watches aren't taking off that much. Like they really didn't have a way to get fitness data. I think the one piece they were missing. I'm sure they had some way to get it, but Fitbit made a perfect sense for them to go and grab it. I'm just really concerned about what they've done to every other company that they've bought.
Yeah.
Is it just crumbles?
Yeah, well, they did okay with Nest. John
Nest
says, I hope they don't rebrand it to Nestbit.
Yeah, seems to be their trend.
That's a good one. Yeah, I think it will be interesting to see. Samsung has tried to be in this space with some of the Samsung Watch stuff or Android Wear. It hasn't really. I mean, fitness gear just hasn't really taken off like I thought it would.
Yeah.
I mean, Fitbit has done okay. They're doing okay. I mean, there's a lot. My son loves his Fitbit.
The people who have them love them.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. So some interesting things in the fitness space, especially in the tech space. We're coming up on the end of the year where traditionally people begin to start make those New Year's resolutions and start getting into fitness gear and some of those. Mike, I have no desire to buy a Peloton bike. That's the weird thing. Like even
really,
yeah, no. I can't. I cannot work out at home.
Okay,
that's just it has never worked out for me. I can't. I don't know what it is, but I am adverse to working out at home. I got to go
things
somewhere
you could
else.
Be doing right. Yeah.
Well, it feels I get hot and sweaty, and I don't want to be sweaty in my house. Like,
okay,
I know it's a weird thing. I can't stand being sweaty in the house. So, never been able to work out in my own house, even with a fan on. Some of those kinds of things. I love to be in the, fitness center or whatever. Before I worked at Gallup, we would go, we had a local fitness center we'd go to, and we'd go early in the morning and walk and some of those other things. So this will add before the Peloton thing, what I was doing when I'd ride the bike is I just put on a YouTube video of someone biking. There's bunches of them. They put a, camera on the front of their bike and they ride. And I saw some really cool things through somebody else's bike ride. Same kind of effect. You get kind of sucked in and you kind of think that you're on that ride. I think Peloton has some of those rides too now as part of their service where you can say, hey, I want to ride. A particularly beautiful ride that I did one time was down in the Presidio of San Francisco. And you could ride around down in that area. And it's really, really beautiful down there. So going from the Bay Bridge to the Golden Gate Bridge, great ride. It was a super great ride, and I just really enjoyed. You could see some things going by people. It kind of tricks you into thinking you're there, and then all of a sudden your ride's over. Because you're looking at stuff on the side, and those kinds of things. So yeah, no, I don't have any interest in the $12 app. When you think about it, it could be $100 a month or $12 a month. All of a sudden, $12 seems pretty great. It has made me think though, like, okay, so I'm using my phone for this now. But do I need to upgrade? Do I need to take a bigger device in that I have a little bit bigger of a screen so I can kind of see and get a dedicated...
Do you have a good place to put it when you're working out?
I do, yeah.
I think that's the next step then.
Messed up my monitor. Well, and do I leave it in the Like, do I leave it in my bag? And, it's just one of those funny things. An iPad mini would actually be a really good device for fitness and watching. A little bit bigger than your phone and a lot of people's phones, but not as big as an iPad. That's obnoxious. When I see people working out with iPads, you're like, that's freaking obnoxious.
Yeah.
Right. So pretty excited about that. First Peloton workout. I think I'm going to do one early Saturday morning, kind of thing, going to the fitness center before the kids on Saturday. So pretty cool. We got that notice. They talked about it on Entertainment 2.0 that most folks, if you're running a Windows Media Center, which I am, you got a notice. Guide data is going away. And there's ways you can fake it, but I'm not really that interested. So I went to Sarah and said, okay, remember I told you about this date, Windows 7 support. We're still on Windows 7. We've talked about that here.
Yeah.
So I've been doing some things, testing some things out, and Mike, I think I finally got it all figured out. And I've been testing.
I'm intrigued because there's different options I know you could go down, right? Like, do you reactivate YouTube TV? Are you going Plex? Are you doing Hulu Live now? So now, you've got me intrigued. What did you decide on?
Lots of testing on this one, back and forth on a bunch of things. Like I said, I did the YouTube Live. I think I'm landing on Plex on the NVIDIA Shield. And I finally kind of figured out how to configure that thing.
Shield as the server or Shield as the client?
Shield as the server.
Okay.
And it will be in the client, right? So you can it'll be, I'll move it out front. The remote for it is very, very simple, but very, very good. Android's made some updates for Android TV lately that have really kind of improved. And I think Plex has as well. I'm using the Drobo as storage, and that's working just fine to be able to keep up. Been doing a bunch of testing. I found the key for me was the clients. So making sure I'm using really good clients. The PC, the web client, not necessarily very easy on your server, on your Plex server. And so it takes a lot of resources and it has to transcode. But if you're using another Plex or if you're using an Xbox, which has its own problems, by the way.
Right. Xbox is awful.
Yeah. No,
it's the worst Plex client.
Yeah. And that's what we use. I think it freezes. It has been freezing every time for me. Yeah. But off my phone, streaming it, Chromecasting it works great. Watching it on there works great. I can use the web client. It's okay.
Because it's doing direct stream instead of transcode. I don't know if that NVIDIA Shield is good at transcoding. So I think any device you open up needs transcoding, right? Yeah. Everything I have a full i7 box devoted to Plex, and when I have one transcode, it uses as much as it can of that CPU. Mm-hmm. And especially if I have 3 or 4 transcodes going at the same time, it does it fine, but it takes a lot of power.
The key is direct. Right.
Yes, you need to be direct play.
Buffers faster, works better, you get a better signal, all those kinds of things. So Drobo's fine, keeps up.
A couple of those things you should be like on Xbox, you should be able to go in and change your settings, because I'm guessing what it's doing is you have your quality settings set below what that file is at. So just turn all those up to original. Go into your settings on every client that's in the house. If you're not worried about internet, right? If you're outside the house, it's different. In the house, every single client, go into your quality settings and just turn the limits on everything. I think it's like local, remote, and online or something. There's 3 different settings. Set them all to original, because a lot of times it defaults that to like a 1080p 10 megabit file. And a lot of times your movies are ahead of that or something, and it'll try and transcode it when it really didn't need to, because it knows the format and it's on the local network. So check those real quick.
I think one of the things I learned is Plex has a really good dashboard that will tell you how all the clients are connecting.
Yes.
Yep. And so going in and then optimizing it based on the client, or getting the client, like you're talking about, optimized for the server and testing those, made all the difference in the world. Yeah. John was asking if it was a Shield Pro. I think I just have the regular Shield. The Pro's got a little bit more storage. I think I just have the standard. I paid $129. Wasn't terribly expensive.
Now you have so many boxes in your basement. Why not just devote one of those to Plex?
Yeah, because what you said, when you do it on the PC and you're using the Windows software, man, it sucks down all the resources, and that box kind of becomes like dedicated to just doing Plex.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to get on a lower power device.
Okay.
And the Shield's perfect for that. Like when it's not doing its thing, it's not trying to install Windows updates.
Yeah.
Like it's not, it's just a Shield.
And I guess if you don't have anyone outside the house trying to get in, and it's going to have to do a lot of transcoding, I guess you'll be fine. Or like if Sammy's trying to watch this from her dorm room, it might struggle.
We don't do that.
But
no, we don't. That's not. She's fine on her phone, and that's not the way she consumes media. She does not watch TV that way. She's Hulu, she's Netflix, she's streaming it. And so it gave us, I think it's gave us the most options. Now I haven't rolled it out in a full scale demo yet. So I told her it's ready. I have it back here still. It's ready to go. When you're ready to make the switch, we can start adding your shows to it, and then you can start accessing it. And I'm going to kind of let her, I'm going to say you can either do it through the Plex, because I'll move the Plex box out there. I mean, the NVIDIA Shield out there. You can either do it this way, which has been a really good experience for me. Like I've really enjoyed watching TV on the NVIDIA Shield through Plex. It's worked great for me in the way I watch TV. The one caveat on here is Plex is still not really good at, when you're recording something, being able to watch it live as well. That's not a great experience, and I got to kind of figure that one out, how we're going to kind of. Now, Sarah doesn't watch TV that way. She's either watching live or she's watching the recorded version the next day. So I think we're going to be okay there. And so I think, Mike, that's the next move for us. Whenever we'll probably do it over the holidays, over the Christmas holidays. So every weekend I still continue to test it, watching football. It's back here. I'm going to take your tip on the Xbox though. And I just thought, because I've heard bad things about the Xbox client, and I'm like, well, if I'm going to watch TV, I'll just watch it from my computer. Right. I'd rather use the Xbox for that. So maybe I have to monkey around with the settings that are in there.
Yeah, and maybe live TV might be difficult. I think before Plex goes through and kind of transcodes it, because at the end, if you ever remove commercials on it, kind of transcodes itself when it does that.
Yeah, I don't.
Live, pretty much live on the Xbox, I think you're always gonna have to transcode. Sadly, okay. Every time I load up a live on Xbox, I look at my stats and it's transcoding it.
Okay.
But
well, again, I think the key has been watching the devices come in, and so if we have the NVIDIA Shield, which is the server, and she's watching it on that box.
Yeah.
And the storage is coming off the Drobo, we should be just fine. That's a configuration that's worked out pretty well for me so far. Been watching a lot of TV and a lot of recorded stuff just to kind of test it. So making the move, I think, this Christmas. So
okay,
I think I'm finally kind of done.
You should go in and add her shows in for her, right? Just go add them all in right now and see how the recording works. And to make sure that it's going to record just as well as the media center. And you can test it out now with the removing commercials, not removing commercials, and see if you like it. I've noticed Plex has gotten really good at that. If you're watching a network show, which is all you're watching over the antenna, it's doing a great job now at removing commercials.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's good. It's good to know. Other Jim says, I'm still thinking of HT's home run Sergio to go along with my runners. I think I'm going to pick up another HD home run. I have 4 tuners, and I think it's time for 6.
I need 4. I only have 2, so I can't use it really to watch live, because usually on one of the nights it's recording 2 shows, and so I would kick one of my recordings off. So I think it's time for me to get another home run as well.
Yeah. So making that move. Andrew says he's a little behind on podcasts, and he just caught up to the one with Sammy on it. I'm going to have Sammy on Friday, the Friday after Thanksgiving. You interested in joining, or are you guys,
I'm
going
to
be
town.
Around? Okay.
Yeah. For Thanksgiving.
So she asked me, she was like, hey, I want to be on again. And I said, well, why don't we do it the Friday after Thanksgiving? So just know, if you're listening, we'll do a special Friday evening episode as opposed to Thursday night, and bring Sammy back in. One of the interesting questions Sarah asked me when I threw this all out there, Mike, and I'll ask you how you'd handle it.
Yeah.
No Blu-ray. Like, okay, so I go NVIDIA Shield. What do I play Blu-rays on?
I haven't watched anything with a disc.
She still buys discs.
Yeah.
We still we all own all the Marvel. She loves the discs. And we stream from time to time, but she does love the discs.
You rip it for her and just put it on Plex.
I could, but that has not been a really successful strategy for her. She kind of likes to watch. I guess my option is to buy just a standard
Would that thing
Blu-ray.
take a USB little?
I don't think so. The NVIDIA Shield? No, I don't think it has the drivers to run a Blu-ray.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. She was like, well, you could buy a Blu-ray for the computer because, we have a computer out there running. I'm like, I'm trying to get rid of that computer. It's a Core i3
a
from
Blu-ray
a
player is
million
probably
years
like,
ago.
what, $25 nowadays?
Yeah.
So it's probably just put in there.
Yeah. But that was interesting. One of those thoughts was like, what do we do about Blu-rays? I'll be honest with you, I'm not interested in ripping anymore. Like, I don't want to rip those down. Don't want to rip them. Don't want to store them. Don't want to back them up. I don't want to. She wants to grab the case, put it in, watch it. And so I'll probably buy the cheapest Blu-ray player I can get my hands on. And we only watch Blu-ray maybe 4 times a year.
Yeah.
Right. So,
or you put your Xbox up there.
No, that's blasphemy.
I'm just saying.
You're telling me I need to move my Xbox into the living room?
Well, yeah.
It means I have to go sit with her out there. I don't want to do that. I guess I should have said that too loud. She's just right over there.
I was just gonna let you say it and move on. I wasn't even gonna address it. Right.
You were gonna let it go.
Draw no attention to the comment.
We're making. So I think we're gonna be making the move over. Mike, Christmas time. Some folks are beginning to think. I think for the next couple weeks we'll be talking about some Christmas gadgets. Aaron Lawrence is coming back on here towards the end of the month to talk about some gadgets. If you had to buy a PC today, you had to buy a computer. Let's not even call it a PC because it could be something else. You had to buy a computer. What are you buying today? Like, what would you, if you had to replace some of the things that you had, maybe your daily driver, right? Whatever you use.
My daily driver?
Whatever you use
different.
on a regular basis.
See, our newest computer is our laptop, which is, I say, the computer that gets used the most in our home. We just replaced that. So that's kind of hard for me to think about because it's new enough, it's great, it's fast enough. I would replace this machine I'm talking to you guys on. The machine that I kind of come down to, my command center machine, is a really old iMac. I mean, this iMac is from what year did I graduate undergrad? 2013, right around there. And so, I mean, it's showing its age a little bit. So I think I would get a tower and I would custom build it. I have always wanted to build. Yes, I would go PC. I would custom build it mainly because I don't use the Mac stuff enough on this main machine. And there's a lot of things I find myself wanting to dual boot over to a PC for. Number one, like Yaesu ham radio software, right? If you want to directly connect in, that's Windows. OBS works way better in Windows. So if you ever want to do any sort of, recording with screen recording, things like that. So I'd be going PC, but I'd be custom building it. And I've wanted to do that for a long time.
All right.
I think I'll eventually end up doing that at some point. I think I'm going to wait till Emma gets a little older though and do it with him.
AMD, Intel?
AMD right now would be where I'd be going.
Okay.
I'd really want to do a Threadripper machine. That would be probably one of my go-tos. Because I mean, AMD right now is they're kind of killing it. They're doing a really good job, and their new line of processors are pretty good. Yeah. Nothing wrong with Intel now, but I would want to try out the AMD set. I've never had an AMD machine. I think it'd be interesting to build one.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
What about you?
I'm a bad one to ask because I have 9 PCs in the house and 2 laptops. Right. So, I'm kind of like, in fact, my work laptop, we have the option to buy those for almost nothing when when at end of life, they wipe them and they're like, you want to buy them? And if you don't, then it goes into a pool and people can buy them for really a reasonable price. And I was like, it's been a good little laptop, but do I need another laptop? I think I do, and I've been kind of itching to try out a Chromebook and just kind of like that's another, or what I might do is go with a Mac Mini. That would be like, how weird is this that you're going to go PC?
And now you're going Mac Mini on me.
Well, I don't have a Mac. And so one of the things I'd love to have is just a Mac to do some things. So just so I kind of know it and understand it. One of the weird things, 10 years ago, when we were trying to help people with computers and stuff, it helped to have all these things. Not that many people ask for help anymore. Like
Right.
it's just not a thing anymore for the most part. Yeah, some, and I know most of the people that listen to this show.
I think it's because most people aren't using computers anymore.
I think
They're
you're
all
right.
Phones,
It's all on the phone.
tablets.
It's all on the phone.
It's things that don't need. They run pretty well, right?
Yeah.
They don't need much assistance with them anymore.
Andrew asked me if I used to have a Mac, and I did. It was a really old one. It didn't last very long. It was still the PC Pro or whatever that. It was old. I'd gotten it from a sale from Yahoo. Tonight when I got home, I was pinging you. We were putting show notes together, and I started everything for the show. That looked like my screen was broken there for a second. I started. You panic. You're like, what?
Yeah.
I started all the show notes and everything from my phone, and I had that thought tonight. Like, could I do everything? I mean, except for this, of course. Can I do everything from my phone? And so I think you're right. Like, we're just,
Well, you know what the number one question though now is what's making a comeback. This is like what maybe people asked about a long time ago. Then they got it set up, and now everyone's systems are ancient. Is home networks, Wi-Fi. I have had a million questions at work. I have never once been asked about how do I do this on a computer. It is, hey, like my thing's buffering really bad. Like, because now people are they're getting Netflix, they're getting 4K TVs, and their Wi-Fi, they're trying to run it over Wi-Fi from like an old N router, and their internet speed is only 10. I'm like, well, 4K is like 15 to 25 megabits per second. You know that. My one buddy's like, dude, I'm on satellite. I only get 10. I'm like, well, you're not gonna be able to watch 4K. Like, you're just not. And that whole side of things, because the industry has been so easy for them to go out, buy the 4K TV. The TV has the smarts in it. They don't need a box. They plug it in. They expect it to work, and it doesn't. And so now it's, well, now what's the issue, right? And they've never thought about their network ever since they first got internet. It's the one thing I think cable companies are doing right. I'll be honest that they do have pretty decent routers now that you are renting from Cox. Like my Cox panoramic Wi-Fi that just comes with whatever service I'm doing would be good enough for most people. And it's staying up. It's an AC Wi-Fi access point. I mean, so I think the cable companies are doing an okay job at keeping people up to date as much as they can. Mm-hmm. But for people who haven't checked their service or anything, they're needing a lot of help there.
Yeah. When Tim, my Marine, came home, he brought all his electronic gear because he's getting deployed. And so he brought his 4K TV home. It's sitting in the other room. I haven't looked at it once.
No?
No.
Because you don't have anything 4K either, do you?
No.
I don't either.
No.
I don't have a funny 4K. And I really have not felt the need to get anything 4K yet.
1080p on a 4K is still pretty beautiful. And there are some streaming services he was using that you could stream 4K on it and use it. It's a beautiful TV.
Yeah.
But
well, if I'm going to go 4K, because I've thought about getting into it. I'm like, you can get the 4K TVs on Amazon for like $300. They're not even that expensive anymore. But if I'm going to do it, like I have looked at those, and then I've looked at like an OLED, like a really nice Samsung QLED, whatever, all of those. And the difference is, I mean, it's like one's 4K and that's cool, and it's very crisp. And one, those deep blacks, that's what makes the difference, I think, in the screen. Is those sort of qualities, not really the resolution. The resolution is big for me as the HDR, the OLED style. I think that's what makes the biggest difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's just interesting. It's sitting in the room next door. There's just a wall that divides it. And he's like, Dad, you could use it. Like, if you want to use this while I'm gone, that's fine. And I was like, nah, no, I'm good. Like, It's just weird that now I have 8 monitors sitting on my desk here. So, like, do I need another
one 4K and just do,
well, I'm kind of looking around like, do I have even a spot for it?
Well, your Xbox, right? You have the Xbox S that does output in 4K.
It does. It does. That's been the one temptation, but it's in another room. I would never use it.
Hang it right above your Xbox. Isn't your Xbox right there next to you?
It's what's up here now.
Yeah, hang it. Yeah. I think you should just put that 4K TV right next to you. And
yeah, stop it.
some beautiful Netflix.
No, I think I am good. It's just kind of ironic. I asked you before the show.
Yeah.
We said anything you're looking forward to. I mentioned that I am using these knockoff kind of Apple earbuds that I bought for $40 at Shopko right before they went out of business, and they've been great. But Apple introduced some new AirPods that have some noise canceling. Are you tempted?
Take my money, Apple. Take my money. Just take it. Just take it now, because I have been. an unapologetic AirPod fan from the beginning. For me, they fit my ears really well. The convenience of them, how well they work, just how well they pair with everything. They sound decent enough. I'm not expecting these to be Bose quality sounding headphones. I'm using them for convenience. I'm using them in the office when I just need to listen to something, phone calls, all of that, and they work great for that. And but Hannah hates them. They don't fit her ears very well. So I think we're gonna grab a set of the Pros because the Pros now, they just came out with them, $250. So still pretty pricey. You're getting up there towards
Not Bose pricey though.
not Bose pricey,
No.
right? Well, and they shouldn't be because they're not Bose quality sounding. But the silicone tip, which Hannah was very excited to see because she hates the current AirPods because they hurt her ears. So silicone tip, it's noise canceling. So active noise canceling too. So it's not so active noise canceling, and they also have a transparent mode. So they have noise canceling on, which it has microphones on the inside of your ear canal. The outside it does the active noise canceling, and then they have noise canceling off, completely off. And then they have transparent mode because these things are kind of suctioned in your ear. It can kind of use the microphone from the outside and kind of project that in a little bit, almost so you could be in a city environment, right? You're walking down the streets of New York or downtown. You can still hear what's going on around you, but also hear your music.
Yeah.
And a very shorter, like a much shorter stem. But the things for me that I like about this is the silicone ear tip, the suctioning in, obviously, and then the shorter thing is nice for me. I saw one video and I didn't realize it was a problem until I watched the video. The guy's like, watch. And he took off his shirt and they stayed in his ears. So I'll get done with a workout. I'll come in and I'll take them off and my ear pods go. They get caught in the shirt and they fling out everywhere.
Yeah.
And a problem I didn't know that I had before.
Well,
someone
you should
brought to
just
my
tear your
attention.
shirt off.
Yeah,
when
right.
you're-
Just rip it off every time. But a pretty decent upgrade. I didn't expect them to be able to get better battery life because of all these things, right? You've got active noise canceling in it. That takes power and everything, and it's a shorter stem. So the battery power stayed the same as the first generation. So same battery power. They did change up the case a little bit, more a longer shape, nothing really big, ingenious there. The only thing I don't like about them is that they still went with Lightning charger on the AirPods instead of USB Type-C. They've moved to USB Type-C on the phones. Like, why not? Why are you now on a brand new product that you just released not going USB-C?
They had a
It
bunch
made
left over.
zero sense.
They had a bunch left over in the factory.
Well, but it's a new case design.
I know, it's weird.
Right?
Yeah.
And so they must have been, who knows? I'm guessing, my guess is that they meant to release these a long time ago.
Oh,
Right? Like they just, for some reason, they got delayed. The
Yeah.
noise canceling wasn't working. They
Right.
were trying, I'm guessing this was meant to be released last year.
Okay.
And it didn't. And so they're still stuck on the Lightning. But I'm guessing because they did a new case for the originals. So if you had the originals, you could go buy just a new case for them that had wireless charging. I'm guessing they'll do something same in the future with USB Type-C if
so
you want it.
did you get them, or are you?
I have
you
not
going
yet.
To? Okay.
I have not yet. I'm probably going to. I think I might get them for Hannah for Christmas. Just mainly because she's the one who would really benefit from them. Because she just doesn't like the regular AirPods.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, she uses we have a pair of the Beats, ones that have the silicone tip that kind of go around the ear. They still have the wire that runs along the back, not the over ear, just the earbuds. And she uses those, and those work out pretty well because they have the silicone tip on them.
No, I think I like the old school ones more. I don't like the silicone tip. That doesn't feel good for me. So I like. I mean, these have a ear fitting molding kind of thing. I can't do the tips. They make me feel like I'm underwater.
Okay.
Even if sound's passing through.
Well,
I'm
and
just
that's
not
the one thing is that's what people have said is they had that feeling, but these ones are actually open. Like it's
Right.
not just a microphone outside;
Okay.
it's like a vent, and so
Yeah.
there's no like
Oh.
you don't have like that air pocket that gets shoved like in there. When you put it in, there's actually air that flows all the way through.
Mm.
So maybe
Well,
different.
maybe worth going in and trying them.
Yeah.
Just to kind of
Yeah.
see. Andrew says he's hoping to get a Kindle Fire for Christmas, and I keep clicking the wrong thing. Right there. I showed it a little bit earlier. Last year, I picked up one of these Kindle. That's not really. Are these Kindles? It's the 8-inch. Let's see if I can turn this thing on.
I think that's a Fire tablet, right?
A Fire tablet. That's what it was.
Yeah.
They were running all kinds of deals on these Fire tablets, and I bought this case is awesome for
Wasn't
these.
the actual tablet like $20 on
Yeah.
sale? when
Yeah,
you
like
got
15. I think it was 15 or 16.
$15. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Insane
So
sale.
watch for these too. This has kind of become my humidor monitoring device. That's really all I use it for. Maybe Peloton, coming up. Maybe we'll bring it full circle, bringing some
I'm looking
Peloton.
for one of those that I could tape to the back of my front door, that is always connected to the IP cameras. So I could if the doorbell rings, you almost could if you're walking by, look at almost like a peephole, but a digital peephole.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they're cheap, or at least they were last year, and I bet they'll Amazon will probably run some kind of deal on them as well. I haven't liked those knockoff earbuds. I've enjoyed. At first I was a little skeptical, but they've really become a good little device, especially at the workout. A couple reminders for folks as we're thinking about what's coming up here on Home Gadget Geeks. I got to stop drinking so much beer during the show. Of course, if you're behind, catch up. There's some really good.
But you won't know you're behind until you get to this episode.
Yo's from Nextcloud was here 2 weeks ago. Sometimes you just listening, you get behind and you declare bankruptcy. You're like, I can't listen to
just
those.
Go back.
The
latest.
Yeah. Go. But Ed Sullivan was on. We had a little cigar tech that we talked about that was in there. Jay Madison came on and we talked a little bit about gear. We're going to get Jay back on as well. Coming up in the next couple weeks, Rich Hay joins us. Ignite was just last week. And so Microsoft Ignite. And so Rich is going to come on and kind of give us a recap. And I'm sure we'll talk about Surface hardware, some of those things. Surface came out with some new earbuds as well. And they're kind of a little round puck looking thing that go in your ear. So you don't have that big thing dropping down. It's just kind of a loop that's in there. So those things look pretty cool. Dwayne Robinson is coming back. So he'll be back on the 21st. I mentioned Thanksgiving. We'll do a Friday show with Sammy, my daughter. She wants to come back on. We're going to talk a little bit about college tech and some of the software she's been using. We talked about hardware last time. We'll talk a little bit about software. She's fresh off a trip to Washington, D.C., and had a great time doing that as well. The 5th, I'm off. I'm in London. We're not going to do a show that week. It's just too much. Yeah. Way too many things going on while I'm in London. Aaron Lawrence comes back, and then Joel from Life Door is on. And then, Mike, it's Christmas. It's hard to believe, right?
I have a lot of Christmas shopping I got to do.
And I think of all the Christmas music we still have to listen to.
Yeah.
Between now and then.
The joy.
We have a lot to do. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern, out here at the averageguy.tv live. Couple reminders before you go. One, if you want to support us on Patreon, and I really appreciate those that have stayed around to that. I don't make a big deal about you guys probably enough, and I probably should, but thanks for your sponsorship. It kind of helps in covering some of the bills here. And we appreciate that as well. You can join us at theaverageguy.tv/Patreon. If you want to get the app and download it, it's free. The Patreon subscribers help pay for that every year. Spreaker makes it. It's a slick little app. HomeGadgetGeeks.com. All one word. HomeGadgetGeeks.com gets you there. Of course, Home Gadget Geeks and the Average Guy TV network really driven and powered by Maple Grove Partners. Get secure, reliable, high-speed hosting from people that you know and you trust. That's Christian. Cyber Frontiers 58 coming out this weekend, if you want to catch up with that one as well. MapleGrovePartners.com. Plans start at $10 a month, and the guy is just rocking. So if you want to get those checked out as well, you can get that done, and get her done is kind of what I say. Mike, HelloFresh has Thanksgiving plans. I don't know if you have seen those come out. They're taking care of your Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You can just buy, I think it's, $16 a person or something like that. They ship you the turkey and the stuffing and all the stuff that you need. You guys still rocking some HelloFresh?
Yeah, we do. We just had one last week. We do it every probably other week. We just kind of, whenever we know we're going to have a weekend, we set it up. That's what I love about it, is they don't guilt you when you hit skip week.
No, they really don't.
Right?
They don't try and fake you out or fool you, for
almost
right?
like an entire 3 weeks in a row. And yeah, they didn't. No worries.
Yeah, they're not like trying to shyster you with all these kinds of things. It's like, oh, okay, well, thanks. We'll see you next week.
Right.
Kind of deal, right? And super, super, super convenient. We did these the other day. We did these sausage, it was like Philly. It was like a Philly. So they sent the bread and you slice it. And we made some garlic butter, and then we toasted it, and we put this in there with some cheese and some bell peppers, and it was a 20-minute meal, and it was really 20 minutes, and it was super great. And then we made our own baked fries, which are really good, really, really healthy. Mm-hmm. And it's just been so great. They continue to send me coupons. So if you want one, I can get you a whole week for free. I make nothing off this. I just want you to eat well So if you want to do that, send me an email, jim@theaverageguy.tv, and we would love to have you do it. Other Jim said
bingo. They've been
bingo.
talking about bingo. They're playing
Hella fresh. Had to
Average
get
Guy
that.
bingo.
Haven't said that in a while. So this show, we've covered a lot. We've PC, Mac. You know what we haven't talked about? Crypto.
Now, yeah, there you go. Now they got bingo. Now
okay, there you go. We mentioned it. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern. By the way, Bitcoin is up 9,003, 9,004.
Yep.
So there you go. There's your crypto update. We are live every Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, 9 Eastern. We'll do a little bit of a post show afterwards. I want to thank those who came out and joined us live. With that, we'll say goodnight, everybody. Justin says Christmas is boycotted due to lack of interest. Not in America, my friend. We are coming up on Sammy put this calendar up, and it had November 1st through the 26th marked out, and then 27th, 28th, and 29th were circled and said Thanksgiving, and then the rest of December was blocked out for Christmas. So it's like Christmas up until those 3 weeks,
all of December.
And then all of December. So it's really all of November. I mean, have you been to Walmart? Like they're already Christmas stuff. Like we're full on Christmas right now.
Yeah.
You know, you guys do anything special for Thanksgiving?
Heading on to the farm.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I think we're going to the farm and then Kansas City both.
I got to go get my turkey. I haven't done that. We haven't thought about that at all. Shoot. We'll smoke a turkey again. You know, get up early and get that thing on and get the smoking tube out and finish my deck. So there's all the railings are up now. I'll look for some cheap Christmas lights to finish the lighting on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably wait till the end of the year to grab those. I bought those at Christmas Shopko got a Christmas sale. Normally $14. They were like $4. So I bought a bunch of those last year, and then it took me like 3 months to even put them up. It was cold. Yeah. It was cold out there. But yeah,
I do
I'll
not enjoy putting up Christmas lights. It is decorations on the inside, sure. Like decorating a tree, awesome. Outdoor stuff, not my thing. Has my video been like? Do I like right now? Did I just turn purple? And then now do I turn? 1 sec. Wait, on my screen. Let me tell you when right there.
Oh yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
And then if I go back here, see, it switched again.
A little bit of a flicker.
Now I'm good. And when I get close, it'll switch to. I'll be purple. Oh, there I go. Now I'm purple.
Man, Facebook is blowing up for me right now.
I'm going to quit webcam settings and see if that has any effect.
I need to quit Facebook for like a month.
I have been thinking the same exact thing. Yep.
I wish.
I feel bad because I've been so bad at responding to people. Like, even I kind of just did a social media ignore it all for kind of the last 2 weeks. I don't have the Facebook app on my phone. I still have the account, but I deleted the app, so I don't check it as much. Twitter, I turned off notifications for a while. So I've been really bad about responding to people. So if you guys have been messaging me and then like Discord, I'm really trying to get back into being in Discord all the time. I got kind of bad about that. Get back in there.
If you're listening live, thanks for coming out tonight. Appreciate it. Mike's not been feeling well. You did really great tonight, Mike. You didn't even it didn't even seem like you were not feeling well.
Good.
So
I fooled you all.
So you did fool us.
The beer helped, right? I never went for number 2 though.
Oh, well, that's a good call. That's a good call. That's unusual.
I know.
I finished mine too, and I was getting a little. This one, the stouts you get.
That's the same thing, like dry mouth. I was going for my water.
I know. I wish I would have brought some water down here. Guys, thanks for joining us tonight. Mike, hang tight 1 second. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you back next week. Rich Hay will be here. We'll see you guys.